What's up, everybody? Thank you for joining us on the In Level Horror Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm AJ.
And I'm Kristie. Join us for a love affair with all things horror as we explore the world of horror films, games, and everything in between.
Now, y'all, we got another great episode for y'all today. We're going to be talking about what we watched this week, going over a bunch of new trailers that dropped. We got a new trailer for Lanier. We got a new trailer for Haunting in Venice, and even got a new teaser trailer for a new season of American Horror Story. Then we're going to jump into the news for this week, and we got updates on Saw 10. We got the new Exorcist posters with the trailer that's playing only in theaters right now, and then some other great news as well. And then last into the podcast, we're going to go into our spoiler review of Talk to Me. So stick around for the entire episode because you are now tuned in to the In Love with Horror Podcast. All right, y'all. So y'all just got a taste of our new intro music. So I hope y'all thought that was fire, man. Yeah, that junk is hype. We love it. We love it. We hope y'all love it too. But with that, baby, let's get into what we watched this week. And as always, to start off with you, what did you watch this week?
All right. So starting off, I watched a Korean found footage film called Gonjiam, Haunted Asylum. And this was recommended during our live discussion with Tyrone on Evil Live a couple weeks ago. And so I decided to check it out because I like found footage. Yep. So this was pretty good. It was decent. It wasn't as scary I was hoping it was going to be. And that may be just me. I don't know. There were some scary scenes, but overall I wasn't like scared from it. But it's like about this group of Korean students who go to this apparent haunted asylum, and they do like a live stream of them going to different haunted places. And so this was like supposed to be their biggest one yet. And there's a guy who's kind of like in charge of everything. He's the one that put the group together. And he got some shadiness going on behind the scenes, which you find out while watching it. And, he's super focused on trying to reach 100,000 streamers. But yeah, it gets really crazy. Overall, I thought it was a pretty good film. And like I said, it had some scary imagery in there, but it does take a while to get there. It's like an hour and 45 minutes maybe. And it takes like an hour and some change to actually get to like the meat of stuff. So that's the only thing I had, negative, I guess I can say about it.
Okay.
Yeah. So we both watched Bird Box Barcelona. So I'll leave that for you to talk about.
Okay.
And I started watching a new series. Well, the series isn't new. It's a couple years old, but they just had a new season come out on Hulu. So I decided to start watching the older seasons, but it's called What We Do in the Shadows. And it's about this group of vampires in Staten Island. And it's very much like that comedy mockumentary style, kind of like The Office.
Oh, yeah.
And it's so funny. It's so good. It's a really good show. So if you ever want to like throw something on at night, definitely throw that one on. It's pretty good so far. So I'm really liking that.
I think I remember seeing clips for that show, and it did seem like it had that kind of vibe to it, like that Office type of vibe. And it did seem like it was kind of funny. So
it is so hilarious. So like there's a core group of vampires, and they have a familiar. He is so hilarious. He wants to be a vampire, but he's kind of like just there to like serve them right now. Well, from the season I'm watching right now. But yeah, it's super funny. It's super good. I never heard of it until recently. I don't know why.
FX show, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I had
Yeah.
never heard of it before. So I was like, oh, this sounds like it'd be something interesting. And it is. It's so good. I love it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then I read a book. I finished reading You're Not Supposed to Die Tonight. This was also recommended to me. I forget her name, but she is the host of the Unbound and Rewound podcast. It's also another horror podcast. But yeah, so the book is so good. I actually did a TikTok review about it, but it's very like summer camp slasher, and the main character is a black character. But it takes a lot of twists and turns. You don't know what to expect. But yeah, it's by Kaylin Bayron. It's very much YA, but it's still really, really good if you look beyond that fact that these are teenagers. But it's still a really, really, really good book. So check that out if you are into reading.
Yeah, y'all. She mentioned that she did a review of this on TikTok. So if you ain't following us on TikTok, make sure you go in there and follow us because we be dropping some heat on TikTok, y'all. So follow us on TikTok. But okay, but yeah, you watched and read some good stuff.
I did.
I watched.
What did you watch?
I watched two things this week. I watched a movie called From Black. It was on Shudder. I'm not sure if it's a Shudder original or not, but that's where I watched it. Was on Shudder. I think it came out a year ago, maybe. A year ago or earlier this year. But it deals with
a Shudder original, I believe.
It is? Okay. Yeah, I know you've seen this too, babe, but this is my first time watching it. But I thought it was pretty good. So it deals with a woman who is a recovering drug addict, and what would you say the time frame was? Was it like a year or two ago that she had lost her son? Like he just went missing?
Oh no, it was like a few years.
It was a few years, yeah. So like a few years had passed since she had like a 5-year-old son who had went missing, and so she's recovering from drugs, trying to heal from the fact that kind of accepting the fact that her son just might be gone forever. When she gets approached by someone who offers her a way to potentially see him again and get him back, and of course it involves some weird, potentially ritualistic type stuff, and then it just kind of goes down that path of the supernatural. And I actually really liked it. I like the special effects. The special effects I thought were really good because it seemed like it's very much an indie film, and like the makeup and the prosthetics, all that stuff. Like I was like, damn, like this is looking really good for this movie. But I think overall, like I enjoyed it. I thought it was a decent watch. Well, it's one of those movies where it's kind of hard to talk about without giving stuff away. So I won't even get into any details. Just go check it out if you are interested. Read the synopsis. Maybe give the trailer a watch. But I thought it was a decent film.
It's got Anna Kemp in there from True Blood.
It's got who in there?
Anna Kemp from True Blood.
What role is she?
She was that dude's wife, the one who was running that religious thing.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep. Okay, now,
I forgot her name in there, but
I see it now. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I see it. Yep, that's right. But yeah, check that out, y'all. I thought it was decent. What did you think about it? I don't remember if you said you liked it or not.
I did kind of like it. It was kind of like I was on the fence on it, I think. Yeah. I did like the imagery of like the demon and all that kind of stuff. But I don't know. I didn't really like the story, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. It's got great concepts in there. If you like like, stuff that is just like rituals, witchcraft type of stuff, like I really like the way they presented those elements, and they almost break the movie up into chapters essentially. Really, I don't know. I thought it was really well done. I liked it a lot. The next film I watched, which you also watched this weekend too, babe, was the Bird Box Barcelona. So it's the sequel to, well, I guess you'd call it quasi sequel. It's the second film in the Bird Box franchise over on Netflix. Yeah. So this came out last weekend. I did a review over on TikTok, so you can go check that out if you're interested. And this movie, time frame wise, I don't know if it's taking place simultaneously as the first one or not.
They said it was, but I guess it was kind of confusing to me because it almost seemed like the creature or whatever it is was no longer in the other place, that it was here. It's not like there are multiple creatures.
And I
That's
think
how
there
it
is
came across to
multiple.
me.
There's multiple.
Okay.
Yeah, there's multiple creatures because they had some flashbacks of like in the film they got like flashbacks that kind of show the mayhem that happened in Barcelona. So I do think that there are multiple creatures.
Well, I'm saying like multiple creatures in like multiple places at the same time.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think there is.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, I think that there is, and I think I'm going to assume by the fact that this is taking place in Barcelona, it was like a worldwide event, and that's one of the things that they don't really. This movie doesn't like dive into like the how or the why these creatures got here. You get a tiny bit of lore about potentially what they could be, but anyway, to break it down, what this movie is, you've got. Um, uh, a father and his daughter who are in Barcelona when the whole, when shit hits the fan with the creatures, and kind of their story plays out on like just surviving the aftermath, and they're trying to get to they end up meeting other survivors and try to get to a safe haven essentially. Mm-hmm. And I'm not gonna give away too much because the movie definitely has some twists and turns within it that even like watching it myself, and I think you can agree with, like in the intro, where I was like, oh, like I did not know this is how it's gonna play out.
Yeah.
But I think the movie's just like, okay, like it deals with some interesting concepts. Like I said, to give you a tiny bit of background, the movie does end on a cliffhanger, which I think is dumb. But it's got some pacing issues. It drags at times, and then I don't know, like it's a very contained story, and I was kind of hoping for a second film with this to kind of give us a more expanded story about what's going on around the world as a whole, maybe like how things happen or how things got started. It's a very like another isolated story. And by the way,
I
this
did
movie
read an
ended,
article where
yeah,
they're planning on making more in other places. So I think that's why it's like that.
And I can't believe that. And I will say that's one thing I think is actually dope with this movie is it is in Spanish. And I watched it in Spanish just because I don't know, like dubs for me just feel weird when their mouth doesn't match what they're saying. Like it's hard for me to focus. So I don't know. I like that idea of them doing it around the world in different cultures, and then having that culture represented in the film. If they do it that way, like that could be actually kind of fire. And then you have a whole Bird Box collection of all these worldwide events, and maybe you connect them all. And there's like a larger story there or something like that. That idea, when you put it like that, I'm like, okay, like you actually might have something interesting here. But overall, I just thought it was okay. Like, but what did you think about it, babe? How'd you feel?
Yeah, it was definitely just okay. I felt like there was a whole lot going on. I don't know. I think it was just reaching for something that they didn't really accomplish. I don't like it, honestly.
Yeah. How'd you like the performances? I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah, they were okay. I thought they were okay. Yeah, for sure. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that one. Everything was okay.
Yeah, a lot of things were okay. I will say the kills. There's not a whole lot of kills in the movie, but I do think the kills in the movie were like creative, kind of graphic. I did like all the kills that were in the movie because once they see these creatures, they do the whole suicide thing, and I don't know. There's some kind of fire moments with that. But let us know what y'all thought about Bird Box Barcelona. If y'all seen it, drop it down in the comments below, and let us know what you thought. But hey, look, that's what we watched this week. We're gonna move on now to the news that came out. I'm sorry, scratch that. I'm getting ahead of myself, y'all. The trailers that dropped this week. We're gonna go over the trailers. Because there's a lot. We got a lot of trailers and news, y'all. This is actually, last week we didn't get a whole lot of stuff. This week, they made up for it. I'll tell you that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right, so the trailers that dropped this week, we got quite a bit. And the first one we're gonna start off with was a new trailer for Lanier, but it's the film that is based off of the Lake Lanier story, the real life true story, right? Mm-hmm. And this is like an actual official trailer. So before they just dropped a teaser that it just wasn't really put together very well. Right. And this I thought the trailer was a lot better. If you're not familiar with the movie, let me give you a quick breakdown of the synopsis. So Lanier is inspired by the true events of Oscarville, Georgia, and the story of a detective who's forced to come to a realization of the dark truths hidden at the bottom of Lake Lanier. And this is a film that will be coming to select venues on September 9th and 10th. And then it's going to come to video on demand on September 16th. And that'll be on Amazon, YouTube, Apple, wherever you can buy premium movies. And I see you got this other note here too, that is that a free stream? Is that free streaming? Do you know? For October?
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then it'll come out for just general streaming in October as well.
Mm-hmm.
No date for the October date yet, though.
No.
But I thought this trailer was a lot better. I definitely think that, and I wonder what your opinion is, man, because I thought that some of the performances in the trailer were a little rough. I think the concept is still good, but
yeah, I agree. It was still a little rough around the edges for sure when it came to performances. But yeah, I do like the concept. And we said this last time, like the concept itself is just very, intriguing and interesting. And I do believe it is a good story to tell. And yeah, the trailer itself was way better than the teaser trailer for sure. Cause that one was a hot. But this one was way more, put together.
Right. Give an idea of the story, very well. The characters. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot more within the trailer.
Yeah. I mean, obviously it is a lower budgeted film. So I think it just kind of reflects that in the performances as well. So
yeah. But I mean, I think overall, I'm still gonna check it out. I think it's still worth checking out to give it that chance, because it might overall be a good story with just some minor nicks and bruises throughout the film.
Yeah.
But again, get ready for that September, y'all. That's Lanier. Check out that trailer, because if you were put off by that teaser, this trailer is a lot better. All right, moving on to the next trailer. The next trailer that we got is for a Shudder original called Perpetrator, and there was there is a date. It's going to be on Shudder and select theaters September 1st. It stars Alicia Silverstone, and there's not like a very large synopsis for this film. So the synopsis reads: brace for a birthday surprise with a twist in Perpetrator as Johnny unravels her family's feral secret, and then it says ready to join the hunt. So I thought visually, the trailer looked really good. I like the visuals and the style of this film. It's kind of hard to tell what was going on though. Is it like because I want to say it was kind of almost like a vampire thing, but it didn't seem like it was quite a vampire thing. Like see some sort of,
I think it was more like more like a creature type thing. From what I gathered, it seems like Johnny, the main character, is like undergoing some kind of like change. I don't know what she changes into, but yeah, so she's undergoing some kind of change when she turns 18. And then that's basically all I really got from the trailer.
Yeah. If you've seen the trailer, y'all, it's very hard to discern like what's really happening in the trailer. There's a lot going on. Obviously, it's going to be some sort of like, you hit like that, like the stories read like, oh, you hit a certain age, you become the werewolf or whatever. It's like in that vein. But hey, I think visually it looks good. It at least was intriguing enough where I'm like, okay, like just even based off the visual style, I'm gonna check it out. But I can't fully gather what's happening in the story.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I thought it looked good. I think it's got some potential. I think they need to put out maybe one more trailer so we can get like a even better feel for it. But but I'm intrigued. I think it puts on the list to check out.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, y'all. So that was Perpetrator, again coming on September 1st to Shudder and select theaters. Next, we got the final trailer for Haunted Mansion. And now, when I saw they put out another trailer, I was like, damn, I thought the last trailer was the final trailer. Because I feel like we've gotten a lot of trailers for this now.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm going to tell y'all right now, I watched this trailer too. And I was like, I think this trailer helps sell the movie again. Like it helps. I feel like it adds a little bit more. I feel like the last trailer might
Mm-hmm.
still be the best one that they put out. The previous, I guess,
Yeah,
the second
I
trailer.
agree with that.
I think that one's still the best. This one's still good though. The movie still has like a very good like horror family fun type of vibe to it. I still like all the chemistry of the cast. The visuals look really good. And this one does kind of focus on like which actors are playing what. Like I didn't know that Jared Leto was playing the skeleton dude.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that. So I was like, oh shoot. And I didn't even realize Jamie Lee Curtis was in there too. So
yeah,
I was like, dang, man. Like
it's a lot of different people in there.
Yeah, it's a lot of actors in this film. But I like the trailer. I thought it looks really good. What do you think about the trailer, bro?
I completely agree with everything you just said. It definitely sells it even more. We got to see, those additional faces that we didn't get to see in the previous trailer. So, I was already hyped for it. So,
Right.
Just looking forward to finally watching it. But yeah, definitely it seems like it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, I agree 100%. And that's coming out next week, y'all, July 28th. So it's a theater. So get excited for that. I do think it looks really good. Let us know in the comments what y'all are thinking about Haunted Mansion. This is the third trailer, so I feel like if you ain't sold at this point, then you probably ain't gonna go see it.
Right.
This should be the final one, though. If they drop another trailer, I'll be like, "Dad, go! You might as well put out the whole movie at this point."
Right. Exactly.
Shoot. But yeah, Haunted Mansion, y'all. Get ready for that next week. All right, so moving on, we actually got more clips for the movie Cobweb. So Cobweb came out this weekend, the weekend of the 21st, and it's a very, very limited release. I think there's only like 2 theaters within like a almost like 50 to 100 mile radius around me that's actually showing this movie. But they put out more clips, and like I did think the clips were good. But I just find it kind of odd that this is the second and third clip they dropped for this film.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just kind of like why keep dropping these clips? Is maybe put out another trailer for the movie instead of dropping like all these random clips for the film. Especially like, I mean, I guess they do add a little bit of like tone to it. Like, so they dropped two clips. The first one was Miss Devine's house visit. So it looks like the son, what's the son's name? Is it Peter?
Yes, Peter.
Yep. So it looks like Peter's substitute teacher comes to the house for a visit because Peter drew a picture in class that said, help me. It's painted all black. He's in the bed and he wrote help me on there. So she's making a house call. And the mom greets her at the door and they kind of have, an awkward exchange. And, obviously, it's this vibe that the mom is like, something's off about her, Right. So there was that clip, very short, 1 minute and 30-second clip. And then we got the second clip, which has the family sitting at the table together, eating dinner. It's the dad, the mom, and then Peter. And the dad tells a story about a couple of years ago, a little girl going missing from a house down the street on Halloween. And Peter makes a comment of like, oh man, am I going to go missing? And the mom's like, oh, we would never let that happen to you. But the mom also mentions like, oh, I don't like that story of the little girl going missing, almost as if she's got some involvement with it. And the dad makes this kind of face. So, these clips definitely give off, the vibe of there's something weird going on.
Right.
There's something up with the parents. Something's going on. Something's happening. Something's changing. I don't know if it's, well, we've seen the trailer and it might seem like they might be some type of creatures or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do think the clips were good. I'm just curious as to why they keep dropping the clips, and just give us another trailer if you want. What you think, bro?
I was just assuming that it's possible that they were just dropping clips because it's such a limited release, and
okay,
maybe they're trying to entice people to try to go that extra mile to come watch the film. Oppenheimer and Barbie have taken over everything. So,
they took over.
No room for Cobweb. And so I don't know. Maybe that's why they're dropping so many clips. But yeah, I think it just gives more questions, so there's that element of intrigue.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just going to assume that that's maybe why they're dropping clips. But I kind of agree with you. Like maybe they could have just done another trailer versus continuing to drop a bunch of clips. But that's what we got. We got some clips.
Yeah, more clips, y'all. We'll probably get some more next week. I don't know, but hey, look, check out the clips if you're interested, because I do think that they do sell the movie. They do make you interested about learning what's really going on. Mm-hmm. But you know what? I was thinking too, like when you look at these clips, the movie looks like it's got a little budget to it. Like it's well made. So I'm actually shocked that the release is so limited.
Yeah.
And it's also got Anthony Starr in it too. So I mean, like, it's weird that they haven't pushed this movie to a wider release.
Yeah.
Very strange to me. I have not looked up. I don't know if you have either, Bay, like Rotten Tomatoes score or anything for this movie yet.
Oh no, I haven't actually.
Yeah, actually, let me see if I can pull it up real quick, because I am kind of curious about how this movie is reviewing, because it just came out this weekend. Just a quick look on Rotten Tomatoes. So we've got, let's see, pull it back up here. So we got 63% for critics, and we got 76% for audience score. There's fewer than 50 for the audience score, and around 40, was it 46? Yeah, 46 reviews for critics. So the rating is kind of decent right now. It's kind of in the middle, which I think is good, because I feel like when they hover around that score, there's a high chance that, you could end up liking it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Cobweb, y'all. Look for a theater near you that might be showing it. It's out this weekend. All right, so moving on to our next film, we got Dear David coming to theaters and video on demand on October 13th. This is another one that is based off of some real life events. So let me read you the synopsis for this film. It reads, after responding to internet trolls, a man becomes haunted by the ghost of a dead child named David, based on actual events where BuzzFeed writer Adam Ellis started a Twitter thread in 2017. And I'm personally not familiar with the story. I think did you do some reading on this? I feel like you might have did.
I did. So basically Adam he's a BuzzFeed writer. He started this random thread one day, and he's basically started this story and continued on building on it, and even had like images to go with it of like this little boy named David that was haunting him. But yeah, obviously it went viral and was a pretty big thing, and they decided to make a movie about it. But I don't think the story itself is true. I think the actual events are that this guy
like
made a Twitter thread. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is crazy. Like, for it to make a whole ass movie off of like a Twitter thread from 2017 is kind of wild.
It is wild.
But I think the trailer looks like okay. I mean,
I think it looks okay too.
Yeah, it's got some elements that look decent to it. I feel like this might be one of those ones I might just wait till it comes out on streaming somewhere.
Probably, yeah.
But I think it's worth giving it a shot just to see, how it turns out. Looks like it's got a little potential to it.
I agree.
But again, that's Dear David coming to theaters and video on demand on October 13th. So check that out if you're interested. Moving on, we got a new trailer for the movie A Haunting in Venice. And as you recall, this is the movie that's I always like screw up the detective's name. Hercule Poirot. So if you're familiar with the series of films that have come out featuring this detective, I think the first one was what was the first one? Was that the murder?
The train?
Murder on Orient Express?
Yeah.
Yep. And the next one was is that Death on the Nile?
Yeah.
That's the next one? Yeah. Okay. But yeah, so if you're familiar with those, and double check me on that, babe, just make sure that I'm that those are the correct ones.
It's fine, babe.
Okay. I just want to be sure. Yeah, I was right. Okay. But if you're familiar with those mystery films, you really like those. This new one, Haunting in Venice, is coming out on September 15th. And what's so cool about this one and why it's on this podcast is it's got a supernatural vibe to it. So if you've seen the trailer, and it was dope. When that first trailer came out, I remember clicking on it and watching it, and I didn't read no descriptions or anything. And then, Hercule popped up, and I was like, oh shit, this is one of those mystery films, the Agatha Christie films. And that was super dope. And they just dropped a new trailer to give just some more expanded details about, what's going on. And I think it looks amazing. Like, I think this movie looks incredible. And I really like the idea of them playing with the supernatural versus reality. And I think it's going to be one of those films where you aren't really sure what's real and what isn't up to the very end of the movie. And then you're going to be able to go back and rewatch it and be like, oh, okay. Like, I see this makes sense. I'm super excited for this one, y'all. This trailer looks really good. I like the audio and music that they used. Of course, all the performances look amazing. The visuals, everything I think looks great. What do you think about the trailer, though?
Yes, I agree. It did look amazing. I actually like this trailer a lot more because we got more of that supernatural element.
We did
in this trailer than the previous trailers. And then we got to see the medium because I don't feel like we saw her in the other ones, at least not very much of her.
Yeah, so not like any like main, like she's the focus of the frame shots.
Right, exactly. So I made note of that because I was like, oh, I didn't realize that the medium is Michelle. Yeah, I don't know how to say her last name.
Yeah, Michelle Yeoh. Yeah.
Yeah, right. And she was in Everything Everywhere All at Once, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, and then The Mummy. Yep. But so I really like this trailer a lot more than the previous ones, just because we got all that extra, spiritual goodness.
Yeah, and it looked like there might be actually some creepy imagery in this film. I know the people with the masks look super creepy. Well,
they
for
definitely
some reason.
Look creepy. Yeah.
Yeah. So I do like that element to the trailer. But yeah, y'all, A Haunting in Venice coming September 15th. Get excited for that one, especially if you're a fan of the Hercule Poirot mystery detective films. Mm-hmm. All right, so moving on. These last two trailers are for TV series. Mm-hmm. The first one being for a new season of American Horror Story. So it's a new season coming out. Well, actually, they didn't give a date. I'm going to assume it's going to be sometime next year, potentially.
Probably.
But it's titled American Horror Story Delicate. It's written by Haley Pfeiffer.
I believe so.
Who wrote Dear Edward, American Crime Story, and Smilf. Are you familiar with those, man?
None.
No, yeah, me neither. But that's who's writing this show. And this season will be based on actual source material, which is the first time in the series history. Just some more additional information. The season is titled Delicate and is based, at least in part, on Danielle Valentine's upcoming novel, Delicate Condition. It's out in August from Sourcebooks Landmark. The novel is described as a gripping thriller about a woman who becomes convinced that a sinister figure is going to great lengths to make sure her pregnancy never happens. So definitely a interesting premise. Mm-hmm. It also featured some of the main stars of this season. So we got some notable returns like Emma Roberts, but we got Cara Delevingne and Matt Zuckery, and also it showed that Kim Kardashian will be starring in the season as well. Now, I'm not all caught up on American Horror Story. I'm pretty sure I'm like at least 2 or 3 seasons behind. So I'm not sure if this is her first appearance in the series, but I just know that when I saw her name, I was like, the fuck?
Yeah, it is her first appearance in the series.
Okay. Yep. Yeah. So that's the whole thing. But I feel like I saw some mentions that Emma Roberts, people were saying they were glad that she was back. So I don't know if she stepped away for a couple of seasons or not. Mm-hmm. But I know that in a lot of the seasons that she was in, that she was really great.
Yes.
But I thought
love her.
The trailer had, American Horror Story is such like a interesting kind of vibrant, visceral type of show. And this teaser trailer had a lot of like vibrancy and weirdness. Is
Mm-hmm.
American Horror Story always has that like weird element to it, and I got the
Yeah.
vibe from this trailer. Creepy music, all that good stuff that I think you would expect from American Horror Story was in the teaser trailer, but there wasn't anything specific related to the story. It's very much a teaser trailer. But what'd you think about it, Beth?
Yeah, like you said, it's very much a teaser. We just got like a couple shots of the characters and like this all white looking makeup and
Yep.
was somebody holding a baby? I feel like that somebody was holding a baby, right? I think Kim
I
Kardashian
think
was holding
so.
a baby.
I
But
believe
yeah,
so.
so you got that a little bit, right, to connect the story. It has something to do with, pregnancy. So but yeah, that's all we really got. We didn't really get much. Just a couple quick shots of the lead actresses, and that's it.
Yeah. Yeah, but if you're a big fan of the series, get ready for a new season. I'm not all caught up, so I can't speak to how well the season's been doing with these last few. I know I saw some comments about, it just not being the same. So I can't comment because I'm not all the way caught up, but I do plan on catching up at some point. Because I feel like even if the season isn't great, American Horror Story always has something interesting or unique to offer. So
yeah,
I think I think we'll definitely have to check this one out. All right, so moving on to our last trailer that came out this week for another TV series. We got the trailer or the teaser trailer for the second season of Interview with the Vampire coming in 2024 to AMC. Now, baby, I know that you really like the show. You watched this season, the first season, so I'm gonna let you do the honors of walking us through the trailer and the synopsis because I think you'll be able to speak to it a little bit better about what's seen with the characters and all that.
Okay. Yes, for sure. Well, the trailer looks like it's going to be a really good new season. The last season we kind of left off with Louis and telling what happens after him and Claudia get rid of Lestat. And so this new season is kind of like continuing on with Claudia and Louis in their new adventure of life without Lestat tagging along with them. So it looks like it's going to be really good because they come in contact with these other vampires. So that'll be very interesting to see how that all plays out. But according to the article I read about the upcoming season, it says that do not expect smooth sailing for Louis and Claudia when they encounter the Theater des Vampires. So I don't know what's going to happen, but it might get messy. But and bloody because it's always really bloody. Now, I did want to point out that Claudia is going to be played by a different actress this season, so it's going to be a little bit weird. Not sure why the last actress left, but they did say she did leave. But yeah, so that's kind of disappointing. But hopefully, this new girl does a good job playing Claudia.
Yeah, and I'm not familiar with the show at all, but I did think there was some like cool imagery and within the trailer. I like the way the vampires look. I think they look kind of cool.
They do look really cool.
Yeah.
And it's funny because like in like the last season, like it's clear to like, their family members or people that know them that they're vampires because of how different they look, their eyes and their nails. And just obviously they don't age and everyone else around them did age. Right. So yeah, I do love how it's not like how we might think a vampire would look. Like, you got this stuff like Twilight and like even the old stuff, like the old Draculas and stuff of
Bram
what you expected from
Dracula,
right, exactly. Like yeah. So I thought it was really cool how they make these vampires look in the show. But yeah, if you don't know, the series is based off of Anne Rice's Interview with a Vampire. And Louis is being interviewed by a journalist named Daniel. And he's basically telling his story of his life. And that's basically what it's about.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what do you think? But you think I would like that show, the first season? No, I feel like I said that the way you hesitated, so I feel like I said no.
It's very much. Well, there are aspects I think you would like, right? Like I think you would like the goriness of it. I think you might like that, like the whole like the killing and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think you would really like because it's very much a drama of this, of this couple and them living their lives together. So I don't know if you would really like that part. I don't know. You might watch it with me, but I know it's not something you would watch by yourself.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I got you then.
Yeah.
I'll probably just get the breakdown from you then after you watch it. You give me the rundown on the good parts.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool, y'all. Well, that wraps up the trailers portion of the podcast. Now we're going to kick it over to the news portion. So we're going to talk about all the horror-related news that dropped this week. We got a lot of great news stories, starting off with the poster and release date for the Pet Sematary prequel called Pet Sematary Bloodlines. So this is coming on Paramount Plus. It will be on there October 6th. I believe it's going to be October 7th when it's going to be worldwide release. And this, y'all, and then also I gotta mention TikTok, y'all, because I did a TikTok on this. So make sure y'all are following us on TikTok because we be dropping all the good news on there. But the poster I thought looked dope for this movie, and I wasn't even familiar with the synopsis for this film. And so if you're not familiar with it, let me read it to you real quick. So in 1969, a young Judd Crandall has dreams of leaving his hometown of Ludlow, Maine, behind, but soon discovers sinister secrets buried within and is forced to confront a dark family history that will forever keep him connected to Ludlow. Banding together, Judd and his childhood friend must fight an ancient evil that has gripped Ludlow since its founding, and once unearthed has the power to destroy everything in its path. Now, what's dope about that, y'all, if you don't know, Judd Crandall was actually the old man in the original film. So we're going to be learning about like the history that he has with the cemetery and the whatever he has seen or experienced or faced. This is a great concept. I thought this is kind of a cool way to do a prequel to connect it to the original character in this manner. And the imagery I think looks really good. They dropped some images showing off like the cemetery, just getting a glimpse of what the characters look like. And I didn't even know, man, we got Pam Grier in there. I was like, oh snap, okay, that's kind of hard. But yeah, so I think that this sounds very interesting. It's coming straight to Paramount Plus, so I'm gonna be a little reserved on how good it's gonna be, but I at least think it sounds interesting. What did you think when you saw all these details about Pet Sematary Bloodlines?
Yeah, I thought it was a very, very interesting take. I hadn't even thought about that. Like considering like to do a story based on Judd's character,
right?
And what he might have experienced before, with the cemetery. So I think that's going to be the concept at least is dope. So hopefully the delivery is just as dope. So
yeah, hopefully, like I said, it is Paramount Plus. So we're going to, lower the expectations slightly so we ain't getting too excited about it.
Right. And I like the actor who's playing his character too. I think he's a really good actor. So
what is he from? 'Cause I don't know if I recognize him.
I forgot what he's from, but I know I've seen him before and I think he's done good in what I've seen him in. I know. So
Okay. Yeah, y'all check out the images and the poster for Pet Sematary Bloodlines coming to Paramount Plus on October 6th and October 7th worldwide. Moving on to our next story. This is an exciting story. I know, baby, you were very excited when you saw this. So for y'all that don't know, The Nightmare Before Christmas is celebrating its 30th anniversary this year. It's been 30 years, y'all. That's crazy.
Years.
But they announced this week that there's a new comic series coming from Dynamite Entertainment for The Nightmare Before Christmas. The comic series is going to be written by Torun Grønbekk. I'm sure I'm pronouncing that all wrong. I apologize. But Torun has written several successful comics for Marvel. He wrote Darth Vader, Black, White, and Red, Venom, Thor, Red Sonja, and many more. And it's currently being expected to drop sometime in 2024. They didn't really give any information about what the story line will be like in relation to the film. No clue. But if you're familiar with Torn Grunbeck's work, and you like it, then you should be super excited. Because The Nightmare Before Christmas, y'all, a new comic series, and this is the art style and tone of this film. I think fits like a comic book or graphic novel perfectly.
Yeah, I think so too. So I'm definitely gonna be getting. I don't even like comic books like that, but I want these. Obviously, I'm a Nightmare Before Christmas fan.
There you go. You're gonna be collecting all that stuff. It's gonna get added to the collection up there.
Yes, so I'm definitely gonna have to check that out when they finally release it.
Absolutely.
Oh,
and
they have a 10-foot tall Jack Skellington at Home Depot this year.
That's crazy.
I'm
sure it's expensive as hell too.
Oh, I think so for sure. But yeah, I'm like, dang, that's crazy. Like a 10-foot tall Jack Skellington. That's insane.
That's cool though. That's very cool.
Yeah.
But them things are always expensive. I'm like, come on, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
But quick note also, the article from ihorror.com actually mentions that they're scheduled, I believe Dynamite Entertainment is scheduled to have 2 panels at San Diego Comic-Con. So it's possible that we might learn more about the project there. Fingers crossed, maybe we will.
Mm-hmm.
But that is the new comic book series for Nightmare Before Christmas. Moving on to our next story. This is just a kind of an interesting one, little interesting interview with the person that's directing The Nun 2. So The Nun 2 director, his name is Michael Chavez, and he had a interview with Total Film Magazine, talking about The Nun 2 and talking about the monster or the villain Valak, right?
Yeah.
And he was quoted in this article saying, and I'll just kind of read some bits and pieces here. He is quoted as saying, "I really think that The Nun is a classic movie monster. She reminds me of Pennywise and Dracula and Nosferatu. I see every classic monster when I look at her. I feel like she's absolutely up there in that pantheon." And we kind of thought this was interesting. Interesting quotes, because we kind of wanted to have a discussion about, like, because there's a lot of different ways you can take that, right? You could take it as he's saying that Valak is as recognizable as those, iconic
But he didn't
monsters.
say that it's recognizable though.
Yeah, he said she in the same league.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's definitely a weird comment to make, just because, not saying Valak isn't iconic for this current generation. Valak definitely is. I think everyone recognizes the Nun character when she's seen, but to put her up there with like Pennywise, Dracula, Nosferatu, the OG vampire, come on.
Exactly. It's a whole nother level right there.
Yeah, it's a little extreme. And I don't know, don't get me wrong, right? Like, he's directing this movie. I don't think it's his character, but so he's got to hype it up, right? Like,
obviously,
you know what I'm saying? So like a part of that's got to be, I got to hype this character up. I'll direct this movie about this character. But I don't know. It does feel weird. Like, what's your thoughts about it, man? Like, and about the quote, what you think he meant when he said it, and then overall, what's your thoughts about it?
Well, obviously, I don't think he meant meant recognizable, because he didn't say that. I took it as him saying, because these characters are iconic characters, right? So I took it as him saying Valak is just as iconic as these characters.
Right.
Like, I don't think I've ever gone, because you know that section in Target that we take, our 6-year-old to, where it's got all like the
movie toys,
and right. Have you ever seen a Valak toy over there anywhere? I've seen it over there. Pennywise. Yep. I've seen a Nosferatu over there. Yep. I've seen all these other characters over there, but I've never seen like a Valak statue.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't want to say I disagree with him, because like you were saying, he's looking at it through his perspective, right? He's the
Mhm.
one who directed this film. He obviously has some attachment to this character. So it makes sense for him to feel some type of way about it. But those caliber of characters have stood the test of generations, across
Right.
generations. You know what I'm saying? Like, we have different versions of Pennywise, but I just don't see how Valak fits or checks off the boxes that these other characters check off. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
So
Yeah,
I don't agree.
you gotta give Valak time to breathe.
Yeah.
Let her.
She's still
let
a
her
very
build up the
very
legacy.
new character compared to these other. I mean,
These
Nose
characters
Fair
like
2 is
define
like
generations.
what year did that come out?
It's like
people
1927 or
still
something like that.
acknowledge him as an
me look it
iconic character.
I was close. It was 1922. I was close.
Yeah. So I mean, how can you compare that something from 1922? You know what I'm saying? Like, that's crazy.
yeah, and I agree. It is crazy. Because you gotta give time to build up the legacy. Like I said, definitely recognizable to this generation of horror films. But to put them up there with iconic horror characters that define generations and for Nosferatu century. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Exactly.
You can't put her up there on that kind of level yet.
Not
in
yet.
terms of being able to influence like the whole genre. You know what I'm saying? Which in ways The Conjuring and Valak has, but not to that scale yet. It's still got to build up that classic level.
Yeah.
But what do y'all think of, to our listeners and to our viewers, what do you think about this article? I mean, do you feel differently? Do you think Valak is up there in terms of, iconicness, recognizableness? What do you feel about the quote? Let us know your thoughts in the comments on this one. All right, so moving on to our next news story this week. We got our first look at none other than John Kramer, y'all, in Saw 10. John Kramer is my dude, played by Tobin Bell.
Yes.
And I mean, it's a very small image, right? Like, it's a very super close up of his face, but the dude has this look about him that's very like, he's got a very menacing stare. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's honestly, it's not a lot to the image, but it's a fire image.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's exciting. I'm super excited for this film. Along with the image of Tobin Bell and Saw 10, we also got a new release date for the film. And just as a reminder, y'all, I'm gonna bring up TikTok a lot in this. I got to. But Kristie did a TikTok on this information earlier this week, so make sure you follow the TikTok so you can stay up to date on all the horror news. So they actually bumped up the Saw 10 release date, so we're actually going to get the movie a little bit sooner than we expected. So now it's going to be coming out on September 29th, which is exciting because that just means we're going to get to see it sooner. That's crazy. I know, a whole month. This is wild, but it makes sense. You want to know why? Because the original release date, what you have coming out right on that day, Five Nights at Freddy's.
Oh yeah.
Ain't nobody gonna be going to watch no Saw 10 with Five Nights. Because even if you don't want to watch Five Nights at Freddy's, you're going to watch Five Nights at Freddy's because everybody's gonna be talking about it.
Yes.
You know what I'm
Everybody.
saying? It's gonna be the talk of the town.
That was super smart.
Yeah, so I do think, and I feel like there's something else that comes out on that day too. Let me see if I can pull it up, because I know Five Nights at Freddy's, but I feel like there might have been another one. Or maybe I'm tripping. I mean, it was just Five Nights at Freddy's.
Maybe so.
But yeah, that movie's about to be. This is gonna be a juggernaut of a film. Like, that movie's gonna do numbers. It's gonna be crazy
for sure. Like,
even though it's coming to Peacock too, but I think it's a premium release on Peacock. I feel like.
Oh, is it? Oh yeah. It is. Yeah. We did talk about that too. Oh, I was just gonna say, compared to this weekend where we got really big movies, I feel like Five Nights is gonna do the same amount of numbers for sure.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. So I think it's smart on their part. I think that's the right move to bump it up.
Yeah.
And that's cool with me because I could just get to watch it sooner.
Yeah.
But now I'm not sure. I think this is information that just dropped with this news this week as well. So all this information came from Deadline, And I'm reading off of Bloody Disgusting's breakdown of all of this, but they say, deadline further details in the Twisted Pictures next installment. John Kramer, of course played by Tobin Bell, is back, and it's the untold chapter of Jigsaw's final games. And they gave us a little bit of a synopsis finally, so check this out. The synopsis reads, set between the events of Saw 1 and 2, a sick and desperate John travels to Mexico for a risky and experimental medical procedure in hopes of a miracle cure for his cancer, only to discover the entire operation is a scam to defraud the most vulnerable. The infamous killer returns to his work, turning the tables on the con artist in his signature visceral way through devious, deranged, and ingenious traps.
It sounds so good.
This is fire. This is so fire. Like, you know how like the people try to, when they're trying to create sequels or whatever, they try to come up with ways to like bring back certain characters, right? Like,
yeah.
How? Because even when I first heard that John Kramer was back, I was like, how?
Right.
How are they gonna make that work?
Yep.
But this is genius to do it in between 1 and 2, and have him searching for a cure, and then to kind of play off of things that we see in real life, right? With scammers and all that stuff, con artists, or him to go down there and get finessed, and then now he's pissed. Like, that's fire.
Yeah,
that's so dope.
Good.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I think reading that synopsis and seeing that image with that hard ass stare that he got, I'm just more hyper Saw 10 more than ever.
For sure.
What did you think? But you got anything else you wanted to add?
No, I agree with everything you said.
And just some other info. I think this info I think has already been out, but just for anyone who's not familiar, franchise stalwart Kevin Grutert, I'm sorry for pronouncing that wrong, my bad, y'all, who directed the highly regarded Saw 6 and Saw the Final Chapter and edited Saw 1 through 5 and Jigsaw, is directing the project. So it looks like this is his first time. I'm sorry, he directed Saw 6 and the Final Chapter, so he's coming back to the series. And that's just exciting to get somebody who's familiar with the series, who's been a part of it for so long, knows it, knows what people want, knows what fans want. We just want to see John Kramer going ham. We want to see him say that
That's
voice.
all we want to see.
I want to play a game.
People getting jacked up,
getting towed out the frame, and getting taught that moral lesson. I'm all about it, y'all. I'm super excited. But yeah, Saw 10, September 29th, y'all get ready for that. All right, y'all, moving on to our last piece of news. So this is about the new Exorcist sequel titled The Exorcist Believer. So we got new posters this week, and we also, it's not online, y'all, but the trailer is actually showing in front of Oppenheimer. So if you wanted a reason to go watch Oppenheimer, there's a great one. If you're a horror fan, go watch Oppenheimer and you get to see the trailer.
Is that weird to you? Because I feel like most of the time that I've experienced, I've never seen like a horror movie trailer attached to like a regular movie. It's always been like, another horror movie.
Yeah, I think they do it sometimes if it's within the same studio. Because I think, unless I'm tripping, isn't Oppenheimer under Universal now?
It might be. I don't know.
Yeah, it's distributed by Universal Pictures, so it kind of makes sense that they would because I believe because the Exorcist Believer, that's Blumhouse, right? Yes, it is. Yeah, so that's Universal
Universal
too.
And Blumhouse. Yeah,
so it makes sense that they would kind of bundle that all together, at least for this film. But yeah, so just some details that we already knew about. Gordon Green, of course, is directing the brand new sequel, The Exorcist for Universal, Blumhouse, and Morgan Creek. That's going to pave the way for a new trilogy. So this will be the first in a trilogy of new films. It's coming out on October 13th with Leslie Odom Jr. starring. The first plot details we were provided with last year tease Odom Jr. will play the father of a possessed child. Desperate for help, he tracks down Ellen Burstyn?
Burstyn.
Yeah, Burstyn's character. And so Kristie and I got a chance to see the trailer playing in front of Oppenheimer. And, we wanted to see Oppenheimer, so it's not like we went just for that, but that is a bonus treat, y'all.
That's why I went. I'm joking.
And so we saw the trailer, and I can tell you that it is, I'm pretty sure, because I I didn't see the CinemaCon trailer, but I did read a transcript of what was in it.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like it's the same trailer that played at CinemaCon. And I don't know. I don't even know how to feel about it.
I'll tell you how I feel about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was highly disappointed. Only because obviously we didn't see The Exorcist in the theater. You know, it wasn't around. I mean, we weren't around when it came out. But I know how watching The Exorcist made me feel. I know how it made you feel. Like that was a really like a big film for the both of us. Like we really loved The Exorcist movie.
Yep, absolutely.
And so watching this trailer, I'll say this. I'm expecting a good movie because this is, supposed to be direct, connected to the original, the first Exorcist film. And so like, because of that alone, I'm thinking, okay, well, you got great source material. So this should be an epic movie because the original one was an epic movie. But watching this trailer, I didn't get those vibes. I got Shudder original vibes. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like, I know Universal gave them some money. So I felt like I didn't see that in the trailer. I will say there were some good aspects with it. I think the kids look really good. I think, we got the posters. Yep. And looking at those images on the posters and in the trailer, I think that they looked really good. They look very similar to how Reagan looked in the Exorcist film. So they definitely did a good job when it came to their makeup, for sure. Other than that, I wasn't feeling it. I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. Ellen Bernstein looked good. I was like, okay, girl. She either gets... She look, what she doing, some eye makeup or whatever.
Yeah, they got some good. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure, like, the makeup helped, but yeah, she seemed like she was getting around fine in the movie.
She looked real good. I was like, okay, sis, with her white hair.
Yep.
So, I mean, she looked really good. Leslie Odom Jr. Now, like I told you, I know him from what's the Broadway show? And the Hamilton show.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it's different acting in a movie than it is in a play. But I thought he did a very good job in Hamilton. Like I think he portrayed his character very well.
Yeah.
In the trailer, I felt like, I don't know. It's also a trailer, right? So you only get a snippet. It's a snippet of the actual movie. So but based on the trailer, since that's what we're talking about, it don't seem like his performance was all that great. To me, like I said, it was given very much Shudder.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
It
so
did have.
I was kind of disappointed.
Yeah, it did kind of have that vibe to it. Like, I don't know, when you're thinking about, they're bringing back The Exorcist, you're thinking about seeing something that is going to be super, like, in your face and make you feel almost uncomfortable.
Yeah,
or like a horror film, And when you're watching this trailer, if you take the music out of it, right? Because the music is fire.
The music was good, yeah.
Hearing the theme song, I was like, oh man, this song is hard. Mm-hmm. But if you honestly take that element out, it just feels like any other possession film. If you're watching this trailer,
yeah, right,
it's like, oh, this is just your typical Exorcist film, like exorcism possession film, right? Like think like the Pope's Exorcist or Pray for the Devil, like those kind of almost not. I'm not gonna necessarily say throwaways, but like the stuff that is to kind of like pump out just to get some extra cash. Mm-hmm. Like it almost felt that way. Yeah. If you just pulled the music out and Ellen's character, and
true.
And like you said, this is a trailer.
Right. Yeah. And like I said to you also, you were confirming or your belief that this was the same trailer that they showed at Comic-Con.
CinemaCon. Mm-hmm.
CinemaCon, right, exactly. Comic-Con going on right now, so that's what was on my brain. But yeah, CinemaCon. So maybe if this trailer might be rough, and maybe we'll get another trailer and it'll look better.
Yep.
It'll be better. I don't know, but it just wasn't giving what I was hoping it was going to give, you know?
Yeah, no, it didn't do it for me. Like you said, there's some great imagery. Like when it showed like the two girls in the room and that like kind of higher camera angle. That looked really good. Obviously the music, the theme was fire. Anna's character was cool. The kind of, relating it back to, Reagan and that type of stuff. But I don't know, like even when, she's walking to the church and it was like bodying the blood, like something about it just felt like goofy.
Yeah.
Like a cheap possession film. Like it just didn't have that same feel to it. So now I'm worried. Sure. But to be honest, David Gordon Green, he's directing this one. I think he helped write it as well. If you know who he is, well, if you don't know who he is, he helped write and direct.
You always harp on this every time we talk about this.
Halloween Ends because
let it go, baby. Let it go.
Those movies are rough. They are rough.
Yeah.
And
let me say this.
Yeah.
I'm not an actor and I'm not a screenwriter. Yep. So, I mean, I just want to say, like, I don't know how hard it is to be an actor or a screenwriter.
Right. Yep.
Or a director. I don't know how difficult that is. But I don't get paid to do those things. These people do.
Right. Yep, that's true. So,
I mean, I need for them to get it together.
I need them to get it together too, because that Halloween trilogy, right? That first one I thought was really good. That first one of that new trilogy, I thought that was actually pretty decent. But then after that, man, it was all bad. And the bad thing is I think for that first one, he was just a producer on it. And it was like the second and third one that he had, I think, like a increased involvement in. And even the writers, let's see. Oh, wait. Or am I tripping? Let's see. Halloween. Oh, wait, never mind. It says directed by. No. Okay, he directed that.
The first one.
Yeah. But it looks like he wasn't a writer on it. The writing credits are for John Carpenter, Deborah Hill, and Jeff Fradley. And then we get to Halloween Kills. Let's see. Writing credits. It looks like the writing credits are roughly the same. Oh, never mind. Never mind. I'm reading IMDb, y'all. And the way they presented it was as if they were writers, but the way it's actually listed in the details is they list John Carpenter and Deborah Hill first because it's based on their characters. But the writing was David Gordon Green. For I think all of these films. Let me just double check real quick. And I'm looking into that because if that is the case, which it is, I don't know. It's just. This first Exorcist believer of the new trilogy could be good because the first Halloween of the new trilogy was good, but it causes me concern.
Yeah,
because the next two Halloween movies that we got were just so rough and like you said, right? Like, hey, we don't make movies and all that stuff. Right. We don't write scripts, so we can't really speak to how difficult it is, but like you said, it's like people getting paid for this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And then you're handling a property like The Exorcist. Like you gotta bring your A game.
That's my thing. That's only my main thing because it is such a iconic film.
Yeah.
Not even the film itself, but it's a book too, right? Like even the book. Like the story itself is such a big story and it's got to be told the right way. Now, if he had been like, this is a completely separate thing, like I'm making another an Exorcist movie that has nothing to do with this franchise whatsoever. I think he could have been like, okay, I'll do what I want and nobody can say nothing.
It's direct sequel.
It's a direct sequel. Now you've opened up this whole other thing of expectations from people who love this film.
Yep.
So I don't know. we're gonna see, and the fact that it is a trilogy makes me feel some type of way because now I'm looking at it. Is this just about money? Like you're just using this to make, using
Right.
the Exorcist name to make money? You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, but just give you a heads up, y'all. Like literally the same writing team. I just looked at it. I just read the article while you were talking. That's the same writing team
Oh
from the Halloween
gosh.
trilogy. It's the same writing team on The Exorcist.
Yeah.
So hopefully they do it justice. Hopefully we get
That's
some
all we
very
can do.
uncomfortable scenes. You
All we
know,
do is hope.
I think about it. The Exorcist one came out in what, like 1970 what?
70 something.
And that movie still to this day,
Still
in
good.
2023, is not only still good, but still makes you feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's some
You know what I'm
crazy
saying?
stuff in that movie.
1973. So I'm saying like make something that's.
I mean, obviously, this is
make a
different
statement.
times.
Make a
It's
statement.
different times, right? So, like, maybe they can't go. Well, you could. To me, I feel like you can go far. You can go far as they did back then. Shoot, all I know is they better be good.
Yeah. I just hope, but I do hope it's good. I did like in the trailer how they did the effect that you saw, and I think the first film's trailer with like the black and white and where it gets like the exposure blown out and it's got the creepy sound effects, and it sounds like they're using the similar like kind of like moaning sound that we hear in the first movie, that creepy weird demonic sound. But I don't know.
Yeah.
October 13th, y'all, and I will say it did say coming to IMAX. That's kind of fire.
Oh yeah, that is kind of fire.
Yeah.
Okay, well now it makes more sense to me why they showed it with Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I guess
also
maybe,
because it is also going to be available
an
in IMAX
experience.
Mm-hmm.
Which is cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm all on board for that. But
I don't know if I want to watch that in IMAX. If it's gonna be screen.
we got to watch that in IMAX. That's an IMAX movie right there, y'all.
Right.
But again, October 13th, we'll see how good this film is. We're gonna have our fingers crossed. We're gonna be hopeful and optimistic, but we are a little concerned. But all right, y'all, that wraps up our news section for this podcast. Now we're going to get into the main topic, which is the Talk to Me spoiler review. Now, I just want to say that it is a spoiler review, y'all. So if you haven't seen the film yet, and you don't want to be spoiled, there's a couple
Some
things
people
you
like
can
to
do.
be spoiled.
That's true. Some people don't mind, like you reading the Cobweb spoiler reviews already.
Well, I'm never mind. Never mind.
I don't like being spoiled, so don't spoil me. But so check it out, y'all. This is a spoiler review. We're gonna have a full discussion on it, and here's what you can do. So first off, if you want the non-spoiler review, Kristie has a non-spoiler review up on our YouTube channel, In Love with Horror on YouTube. You can check that out. And then once you watch the film this week, when it comes out on the 28th. I think there's showings on the 27th, that Thursday. You can come back to this podcast, resume it, and then you can listen to all the spoilery details. But if you don't care about spoilers, then sit back while we dive into
grab your popcorn, your wine, or whatever it is you're drinking now. Let's get into it.
Let's get into it. So first, we'll start off with the synopsis for Talk to Me. So the synopsis reads: when a group of friends discover how to conjure spirits using an embalmed hand, they become hooked on the new thrill until one of them goes too far and unleashes terrifying supernatural forces. Of course, it's directed by Danny and Michael Philippou, and it's written by Danny Philippou and Bill Hinsman. And again, it officially comes out next week on July 28th. And we start off with what? We start off with what we liked.
Sure, we can do that.
I'll let you go first.
Why are you always making me go first? Okay, so what I liked everything. I absolutely adored Sophia Wilde as Mia. I thought she did an excellent job.
Mm-hmm.
Her performance, I felt, was super believable. I felt like this was a girl who was traumatized and experienced a shit ton of grief, and she she needed friends. She wanted to be liked. Like I felt like that was her character was very authentic. Her portrayal of the character was very authentic.
I agree
I
with
also
that.
like some of the other performances as well. The mom, Sue, Miranda Otto, right? I liked her portrayal as the mom. I thought she was hilarious. Like she was like that.
She did have some funny parts. Yep.
Yeah, she was like that mom who act like
the
she
fun
joking,
mom.
but she ain't. But she not really playing. You know,
Yep.
like I'm gonna give you a little bit of this leash, but you're not gonna go too far with it. You know.
Right. Yep.
So I really liked her a lot. The brother Riley, I liked him as well. I thought he did a really good job. The other girl, I can't remember her name, but the main girl who had the hand initially, I thought her character was really good too. Like,
yeah,
obviously she had some issues because she was kind of not bullying, but she had that vibe, right? Like you don't want to like be around her because she don't F with her type of chick.
You talking about the character named Haley?
Haley, yes.
Yeah, played by Zoe Tarakis.
Right, her. I thought she did good too. But yeah, so I love the performances, obviously. But yeah, I love the performances. I felt like Danny and Michael did a very good job of finding people who could portray these characters correctly.
Yep.
It was a bunch of kids, you know what I'm saying? Like, and I felt like these are a bunch of teenagers playing with stuff they didn't really understand. You know, they just thought it was fun. What else did I like? I liked the overall story. The plot I thought was pretty, well fleshed out. I feel like everything flowed pretty good. I know you didn't like the ending, but I thought the ending was good. Like, leading into the ending, I thought everything made sense pretty much. I liked the way the movie looked. Thought it was very well shot. Like some of the like the angles with when they were possessed, I thought that was really creative.
Yep.
Like that one scene where she was talking to her mom and she was obviously crying, so her face was kind of like blurry, and I don't know. I just thought that the way that they shot everything was really good and really cool.
Yeah.
The overall coloring and the tone of everything was really well done. I mean, I personally thought it was a really, really good movie. Yeah, so I liked everything, honestly. I mean, some of the scare scenes I thought were good too. The gore. I wasn't expecting so many cringy moments.
Oh yeah, like the cringe up because of the grossness.
Scene with the dog. When Riley got possessed and he was banging the S out of the
oh yeah, that shit was crazy. I wasn't expecting that either.
I was like, whoa, you know what I'm saying? Like I was like gripping the sides of the seat because it was just like so crazy. I was like, oh yeah, they went there with some of this stuff.
Right.
And because of how they did like the sound and the music, I thought it came across creepy when it was supposed to come across as creepy and scary. My favorite scene, which I told you about, is when they were consistently doing the possession, when everybody was like taking turns. And
that was cool. Like the montage.
Music was playing. Yeah, that was my favorite scene.
That was a fun part.
Yeah, it really was. I was like, these people, these kids have lost it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm looking at it like, what if I was a parent walking in on these fools in here, getting possessed back and forth? Like,
like what are y'all doing?
What are y'all
playing
doing?
with?
Yep. Right, exactly. Yep. It's so crazy. I did like that it's not really a lot of detail, but the little detail about how it works, right? With why the hand causes them to be able to see these dead spirits or whatever.
Yeah, the cut off psychic hand or whatever.
Yeah, I thought that was a really cool concept. Now, when I went to my screening, I saw a Q&A, and Michael was saying when they originally wrote this, it wasn't a hand, but he didn't say what it was. And so I was like, I wonder how the movie would have gone if it wasn't a hand, or like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I'm glad they chose the hand, because I think it made it, made more sense. Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so that was very interesting. I'll let you say what you like, so I can kind of to go piggyback off what you got to say. But
okay,
that's pretty much everything I liked.
Yeah, I agree with a lot of your points. Like, I thought Danny Michael's directing, like all the filmmaking aspects were really well done. Like the editing, like some of the scare sequences were really well done. Like when you first see that dude in the corner of the bedroom, like he's just kind of sitting in the corner. You can kind of make her out a little bit. I can't remember. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. You can kind of make her out a little bit. I couldn't remember if it was a dude or not, but you can kind of make out that character in the corner, and then they suddenly move. Like that was super creepy. So there was some like really good tension building moments. I like that like initial possession that Mia had, where she was like scaring the hell out of Riley. That was really well done, and like everyone's performances like helped sell it. You know what I'm saying? Since everyone was doing such a good job acting, it was really selling the believability of this whole possession thing. And everybody was acting possessed really well.
They really were.
Yeah, like it didn't feel goofy or anything. It felt so authentic.
When Mia was doing the different voices of the different things, I was just like, this is so freaking good. Like,
they acted possessed real good.
Kind of playing back to what we were just talking about with the Exorcist trailer, right? Like, or even the other stuff we talked about about the performances. Like, they're not being, kind of subpar. These performances were good as heck.
Yeah, they were top notch. They killed it.
And a lot of these people, a couple of them are, because this is an Australian movie, so a couple of the actors have been on like Australian series or shows.
Yeah.
But a lot of these people haven't done anything before. And that is so insane. Yes.
For them to not have done anything and to act at that level is wild. And that, that could also speak to, Danny and Michael's directing ability, maybe coaching them through like, like how we're framing the scene and like, how to be, a lot of times the director can help, pull out the performance that's needed for the film. But yeah, that's amazing. I didn't even know that some of them was their first movie. That's crazy. But yeah, performances were all amazing. Like you said, I like the visual style of the movie. I said it in my little TikTok review that the movie felt very like visceral and grounded. Like it felt like this hand thing and these friends all doing it felt very real and authentic. Yeah. I was a huge fan of that aspect. I thought all the audio and music choices were really good. I liked how the audio helped enhance some of the scare moments, and it didn't feel like cheap. It felt like it fit and kind of melded together really good. And what else did I like? And I said it in my review that I liked the first like 60 to 70% of this movie. I loved it. Like the kind of almost slow burn buildup of the tension and the unexpectedness. Like Riley banging his head on everything was just like, crazy. Like, I knew something was going to go wrong when he did it, but that is not how I expected it to go. Like his face, when you see his face in the hospital, that jump was toe all the way up. I was like, good God.
Another thing, the way that they look when they become possessed was really cool.
Yeah, it was cool.
I thought they did a really good job with that.
Yeah. What else did I really like? I think I pretty much covered everything.
Deep now.
Yeah, I think I pretty much covered everything that I like. Like I said, I think that all the filmmaking aspects were really well done. And I will say I like the original concept, this idea of this hand, the possession. This is a very unique and creative idea and concept. I really like that aspect of it, and I like the rules of how it works, like how they even explain the rules in the movie.
Yeah.
You know, oh, we got 90 seconds. You can't go past it. If you die, they take over. Like all the different rules of it, I thought were dope. Now, you know, one of my annoyances is they said the rules and then all the characters forgot.
Okay, let's first save that for what you didn't like.
But
hold on.
But yeah, but I think that's everything that I liked, though.
Okay, all right. Well, what I didn't like, I felt like it was too short. I would have liked it to just be a little bit longer. I do think thinking about it, I do think that final scene was a little bit rushed.
It was.
Because I'm not a big fan of the whole leave it up to interpretation thing. Like that whole scene I felt was kind of like thrown, and it's like, well, you know, you make of it what you will type of thing. Like I personally need to know, was Riley was he actually possessed or what? Like I didn't like that whole transaction of her taking him in the wheelchair, and next thing you know she dead, but he's okay. Like that scene was just too short for me. I needed some more expansion. So that I do wish was a little bit more expanded on. And then kind of going from earlier in the movie from, her getting taking the hand back home, and then to her killing her dad, that whole portion in the middle, I felt like that could have been some more stuff could have been put into there too.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I do feel like it could have been a little bit longer. So that's my only con.
Yeah. No, I agree. I actually agree with that. I think that a longer runtime, this movie was only a little over an hour and 30 minutes. And I feel like with a longer runtime, they could have built up to the same type of conclusion, but it would have been a lot more satisfying because we would have had more time into the idea that Mia's being manipulated. We could have saw more angles of that. And then maybe also just add a lot more scares. Like, because that's one of the things I didn't like, is the movie didn't feel very scary to me. You know, they had a couple of good moments in there, but that's it. Like, we're talking a couple.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't a couple. It wasn't as scary as I was hoping it would be. And I don't know if some things got left on the cutting room floor, trying to, make it a shorter film. I don't know. But that's a big thing for me. It was that final act felt very rushed. And that's kind of my issue of why, I think the movie's just okay. Because you get that first 60 to 70% of the film. And then I feel like once she realizes Riley's being fucked up in the spirit realm, like you get on this like fast track path where it basically kind of like goes home, kills her dad, goes to kills Riley, and then she dies. And that whole, like, it was very fast paced.
Yeah.
And
it was funny because, so I took our oldest daughter with me to the movies when I watched it. And we watched it at one of those places where they, you can eat food or whatever, order food.
Yep.
And so we ordered food. We ordered some drinks or whatever and popcorn. And he tells you in the beginning, he's like, we'll bring the check when there's like 30 minutes left in the movie. And so when he starts bringing the check around, she's like, Mom, we only got 30 more minutes left of this. She was like, because where we were in the movie, it don't seem like it was going to only be 30 more minutes left in the story, because it seemed like so much more to, be told.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess so. So yeah, it definitely needed to be longer.
Yeah. Yeah. A longer runtime. What I think would have helped them sell the idea of her manipulation, her killing her dad, and ultimately her dying and now being on the other side of the game.
Which I thought was a really, really good way to end. I thought that was a good way to end.
Last little bit with her being on the other end of the game was cool.
5 minutes.
Like that idea was cool, but getting to that was, I think, terrible.
Yeah.
That's just me. I just not think it was very good. It wasn't satisfying at all for me. I was very disappointed by the final act leading into that ultimate conclusion where she's dead and now the other side of the game. And also, like, I don't know if you thought about this, babe, but Like, I feel really bad for the dad. This dude lost his wife to suicide, and his daughter's dead. He ain't got nobody. Like, the dude, he probably end up killing his own self because he ain't got nothing. He lost everything.
Yeah, he did. Poor man.
I was like, daggone, that's awful.
Now, I will say this. Like I told you earlier, I did get a chance to see like the Q&A thing from what's the name of, I don't even know what the name of the Fantastic Fest, I think is what they were at when they were talking about the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now they did say that they didn't go into details about which scenes they took out or edited or whatever. But I do know that they said they did have to cut a few scenes. Like, for example, the one where you see Riley being tortured by the different souls
Spirits,
or whatever. Because it got extremely gory, and they was like, you know, they didn't want to have stuff just for the sake of being gory. So they cut that scene down. Now, that could have happened in other places too. Like maybe other things just
could have been other scares,
you
or
know
something.
What I'm saying? Right. Yeah. That was just a little bit too much.
Right.
And they had to take those ones out. You never know. So that's a possibility too.
Yeah. It really is. And it's unfortunate because I really wanted to love the movie. And like I said, that first 60 to 70%, I thought the movie was fire. I was like, oh man, this is a good one. But that rushed final act just didn't bring it to a satisfying conclusion for me. And I also just think because it was rushed, made me not like the direction that they took it. I was like, oh wow, she's being manipulated. That don't even make sense. Like, I get it. She's traumatized and a lot of grief. And like, I don't know, like it would have been a much better sell if we just spent more time with that manipulation.
I agree with that. Yeah.
Because I'm just like, come on, I don't even look like your mom. You know what I'm saying? Like,
it looked like
it's like this weird, I don't even know what the heck.
Yeah,
you know
I didn't understand that either. But like I told you, she is a teenage girl and she is going through grief.
Yep.
And I don't want to say it's like an automatic given that she's going to make stupid decisions. But obviously she was so blinded by her grief, you know what I'm saying? She couldn't see past that. And she just really wanted her mom so bad in any way that she could get her.
Yep.
Now I did think it was interesting because she never she was constantly having this connection with her mom, like this tether to talking to her without the hand.
Yep.
So I assume that, you know, she was just possessed and this apparition that she was seeing was all in her head.
Yeah, I think that's very possible.
Okay.
I think that's very likely, the fact that, because, you know, they mentioned in the movie, like, you know, it feels like you're in the passenger seat when you're possessed. So it's very possible that a lot of the times when she saw them, she was in like possessed mode.
Mm-hmm.
And because she went over the time limit, it just kind of like hung around and can sometimes, you know, take over her body, so to speak.
Okay.
And I think that the film was trying to say that when she was sucking on Daniel's toes, you know, I think it was trying to get that point, like, hey, she could be possessed in some of these moments where she's seeing these spirits.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay, that makes more sense. And then there was one scene, I pointed this one out to you as well, that I didn't really understand. When her and Riley were in the bed together, because this was early on. This was, you know, after the first time she did the first thing.
Time. Yep.
And she's talking to him and, you know, whatever. And she goes like, good night. And then the creepy hand thing touches Riley's face. Now, me watching this in that moment, I'm thinking, oh, so maybe something got out or whatever.
That's what I was thinking.
And then eventually they were going to start seeing stuff or stuff was going to start happening. But obviously that's not what happened. So I was like, well, where did that hand come from? I didn't get that.
It's probably Mia possessed.
Yeah, that's what we kind of said. But yeah, I would like some clarity on that. So I was like, well, what the heck is it?
Yeah, I think that's probably what it could be, is her being possessed in all those moments.
Now, if that's the case, did she continually become possessed? Like, because, you know, her mom didn't come into play until Riley did his possession.
Right.
You know, so I don't
Well,
know.
so I was going to say that too, right? And this is where some of the don't make sense stuff comes into play, right? Well, for one, they already knew the rules. Like,
Yeah.
if someone dies, the spirit takes over forever. So the concept of her killing him was dumb anyway. And then number
She
two,
forgot about all that.
yeah, obviously. And then number two, if she is being possessed and taken control of, like, why doesn't the possess mode just kill Riley anyway? Like, if they're taking control, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if she waking up sucking on his toes and not realizing at all, why doesn't the possess mode just be like, "Yep, I'm gonna kill Riley"?
Yeah,
and then
that's
move
true.
on. You know what I'm saying? That's like some of the
Yeah.
plot holes and plot gaps.
Okay,
in the movie.
now this part. If Riley was not possessed, what's up with that scene when he was banging his head in the shower at the hospital?
Oh yeah. See, well, I think in those moments, I think he is like, I think he is like somewhat possessed, right? So I think what happened with Riley is he stayed too long. Now he got trapped in the spirit side, and now they can kind of use his body as a vessel. So I think in the moments where he like comes to, is like the spirit like occupying and trying to make the body kill itself, so that they can keep the Riley's soul forever.
So do you think he really was possessed then? So at the end of the
I think
movie,
he was.
At the end of the movie, when his sister has him, Jade has him, you see, he seemed like he wasn't possessed.
What are you talking about when she hold him from the wheelchair?
Yeah.
Well, because I think it was weakening, right? Because I think someone in the movie said that, I forgot which character it was, but one of those characters said something along the lines of, over time, the spirit's control over the body weakens. I don't remember if it was the brother of the dude from the very, very beginning of the movie. That was a great intro to the movie, by the way. When that brother came and stabbed him, and then he stabbed himself. That was a cool.
That was a good intro. But yeah, you're right. He did say that.
Yeah, the thing was him. It was like, oh yeah, over time it loses strength and then it just leaves. So I think it was weakening, and so I think naturally by that point it was probably
it was gone.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Especially because I think Jade even mentioned oh yeah, he's getting better. So he's probably
So he probably was still possessed at that moment, but then like you said, over time,
slowly losing control, losing the grip on the body to the point where he would fully come back.
Okay,
which is why I'm sure the spirits were really pressuring Mia oh, kill this dude,
kill him, right? Yeah,
we need this motherfucker, kill him right now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So now, do you think she got so affected because she kept messing with it versus everyone else who had done it? Because they had done it multiple times before, and no one else seemed to be as affected as her and then that boy from the beginning.
I think she just stayed attached for too long. And so whatever that thing was that initially was oh, I like Riley, you know what I'm saying?
But Riley's the one who did it for longer than 90 seconds, right?
No, she did it longer than 90 as well. She didn't go as long as Riley, but she did go over 90. I do remember that much. I remember them saying, oh yeah, we went a little bit over. I don't remember how long over, but I'm sure it was enough to keep the spirit around. Mm-hmm. And then I'm sure after the Riley moment happened, it was fully unleashed, because I had the same question of, did they blow out the candle in time?
Oh yeah.
After it ended, they might not have. And now the spirit was running free. And I'm willing to bet that the spirit that was possessing Riley is probably the same spirit that was manipulating Mia. Probably. I think that's the same one across the board.
I agree with that. Yeah.
When you see him laying in the bed and talking to Mia, saying all that shit, I think it's the same one that's been messing with her with the mom visuals and all that stuff.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Whew. Well, overall, I thought this was a good movie. I didn't expect half of the stuff that happened.
Right.
And so it kind of kept me on edge. There wasn't any moments where I was just oh, this is boring. Kind of how when we watched The Boogeyman and there was that whole portion of the movie that was just super drawn out and slow. Yeah. I didn't have no moments like that in this movie. Like you said earlier, it was a very unique take on possession. Mm-hmm. I thought the performances were really great. I thought it looked great. I would definitely give it 4.5 out of 5, maybe 4.75.
Yeah.
Only because of it being, the shortness and
Yeah.
some of the stuff that I wish was a little bit different. So yeah, I would be like 4.5.
Yeah, I think for me, like, I like the filmmaking. I like Danny Michael's directing style. I like the editing. I like some of I like the slow burnness to it. I like the buildup of the tension and the scare sequences. However, there's very little of them. The audio and music choices were all great. I like the creative, unique concept of the film. Like I said, I like the first 60 to 70%, but that final act just was so unsatisfying because you had such a great build up to that point, and that final act just did not match the build up at all, which made everything else kind of sour for me a little bit. It soured the taste of the rest of the movie because I'm like, damn, we had such a great lead up to this, and then you just kind of fell flat. But like again, the performances were all amazing, very grounded, visceral movie. I really like that aspect, and I'm very excited to see what Danny and Michael do next. Like, I think the movie's just okay, but that doesn't mean that I'm not excited for their potential. I think they could definitely nail whatever they do next. Just like tighten up some of that writing, get rid of a lot of the plot holes. Give the movie a little bit more time to breathe. Make it a little bit longer so you can really execute. And if you want that kind of ending, like build up to it and really execute and make it, something special. I still think this is worth watching once. It's a very unique and creative film. And again, that final act is kind of it messes everything up for me, along with like, the other plot holes and things like that, and the just not being scary enough. I think for me, I'm going to give it like, if I had to give it a rating, I think I would give it somewhere around the neighborhood of like 2.5 to 3 stars out of 5. That's kind of where I'd be hovering around. It's kind of middle of the road for me.
I thought you was at least giving 4.
No, it's kind of in the middle for me. It is in the middle.
2.5 to 3.
It's in the middle. I gotta keep it real, y'all. I gotta keep it real. It's in the middle for me.
Ouch.
But hey, look, y'all. If you've seen Talk to Me, let us know in the comments what you thought about the movie. Did you think, are you like me, where you just kind of thought it was okay? Or maybe you thought it was bad. Or you like Kristie, where you thought it was a great film and very, very highly rated. If you haven't seen it yet, how excited are you for the film? And hey, if you listen on Spotify, we do have the option to answer the questions on there. So you can go in there and let us know where you can, on the question portion, you can actually type it in what you thought about Talk to Me as well. But hey, look, y'all, that brings us to the end of this episode of the In Love with Horror podcast. Thank you all so much for listening to the whole thing. If you made it this far, we greatly appreciate it. Hey, make sure you're following us. I mentioned it multiple times in this episode. Make sure you follow us on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and then also make sure you visit our website as well. InLoveWithHorror.com. Got some incredible merch on there. It's another great way to support us and support the podcast. And if you're listening,
review.
Yes, if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, please do leave us a review and a rating on those platforms. That just helps, boost us and get us seen, get us more visibility on those platforms. Hey, look, again, y'all, thank y'all so much for tuning in to the entire podcast. This has been another great episode. I know we had fun. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed the conversations, and we hope y'all did too. And join us in the conversations, man. Drop down in the comments what y'all thought about anything on this podcast. Again, thank y'all. This has been the In Love with Horror podcast. And we'll see you on the next one. Peace.